Okay, so this part here is about TPUSA and Candace reaching out in regards to trying to obtain an alibi for, I believe this was in regards to Erika.
It's being, I don't know, I guess sort of denigrating what we were doing. I then was like, okay, let me text someone more responsible at Turning Point USA and ask, hey, do you guys want to give me an alibi? So I put Andrew Colbert and the COO in a chat, and I was like, hey, just figured we could have a direct line and you can just give me Erika's alibi and I'd be happy to publish it because I'm not interested in like throwing mud on someone's name. I just want to get to the truth. That conversation was had yesterday, and they did give me an indication of what she was doing, which was making dinner for Charlie. I have asked for metadata to show that that it was Charlie that she was texting, and I'm still waiting for that. So the last conversation I had with them, I think that was yesterday, Sunday at around 1 o'clock p.m. ish, my time, Central, I think, and they said that Erika got busy with the kids and that they were going to get me something. So I'm still waiting on that. Just so you guys know.
So I'm going to skip ahead to basically the end of the stream because she actually talks about this again. So after bits and pieces here, she does bring on other people to talk. And this Suleiman, maybe? I'm not familiar with him. I think I've heard of him though. And he is essentially asking for clarification around what they would feel or what it would mean if Candace never got confirmation. You'll hear what he says, but I wanted to play these two pieces back to back because they're connected. She goes into more detail. Okay.
It makes no sense for him to go behind the scenes when he could just texted me and said, hey, I heard you covered this. Just wanted to give you this. Here's where Erika was. And, so you could update people. That doesn't make sense to me. And I've heard that they are spending a lot of money on an anti-marketing campaign, if you will. I am trying to get receipts on that to see if that's true. And if that does pan out to be true, then I think we have our answer. I just added you, Suleiman. Did you want to say anything or did you just want to listen?
Yeah, I did want to say something. Hopefully my mic is working. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Because I'm just in an Uber. Oh, brilliant. I guess my question is this, that when it comes to, by the way, I first of all appreciate the work you're doing. And also, I think one of my friends is on your team. But that being said, one of the questions I have is, in terms of Huachuca, how does someone prove the negative? And what I mean by that is, I can't always prove where I am at all times. So, for example, how do you prove that you're not somewhere if you don't somehow have some kind of photograph you take on the day? Like, how will they be able to disprove where they were? And the reason I asked that is because you can ask that about anyone. For example, Sam, I don't know where Sam was when Charlie Kirk got assassinated. So will he be able to prove it or not? We just don't know. So I guess the question is, how do you prove the negative?
Yeah. So I think the first thing is like, just answer, right? Hey, I was not here. That would be like a nice, strong start. I'm Brian Harpole and I was definitively not there. The second thing is you would just be so surprised at how much your phone has. If you were there, then Brian Harpole would have had to have taken a flight to Fort Huachuca relatively early on the 8th or early on the 9th. I mean, he could, if he's awake at that time, this is supposed to be like a guy who's doing security. He's got to be up early. How quickly before you roll over in bed and text somebody about something, like whether it's like breakfast, whatever it is, you're texting, and that is creating a timeline of everything you're doing all day. Like if you asked me what I was doing today between, I don't know, 4 and 6, I could look through my phone and see who I was texting at that time, and we'd be texting about something relevant to what we were doing or where we were about to meet up. There are so many.
Briefly, I wanted to just touch on what she said just a second ago in regards to starting off by just saying I wasn't there. While I agree, like if you ever watch any true crime, and especially, so one of the channels that I watch is the Behavior Panel. I love them. They're all very seasoned. They know what they're talking about. It's really great information. And they do talk about this often, about how one of the things that they look for is like a very solid, confident no. I wasn't there. And while I agree with that sentiment in that scenario. If you're in an interrogation situation, I understand that. But in a situation like this, I while I agree with Candace, I also playing devil's advocate, I could see, like, if I was in this position and I felt like this individual was trying to dig up information on me, and I knew how information can be manipulated potentially or used in ways that I don't want it used, I could see being hesitant to even come out and just give a definitive no. I still probably would, because if you can prove it, great. I guess I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm making sense, but I feel like I could see why people would be like, it's, kind of like the whole lawyers tell you don't say anything until we speak with you sort of a thing. I could see it being that sort of an idea. But as she goes on to say, they did try to give proof. So, and it just was crappy proof. So they weren't trying to avoid it completely. So I know what she's saying, but I just felt like that was kind of like, would I just come right out and respond? Maybe. I don't know. I guess it would depend on how much I felt like this person was maybe trying to get me in something. But
many ways that I
she
think
goes
you
on
could
here about
show
Erika, and I
what you
wanted
were
to share
doing.
that.
But I think the first thing would be just to answer. Like, it's a pretty straightforward, like, I don't see the upside in Cabot Phillips not answering. There's been so much innuendo about him. People are talking about, like, his pizza tattoo, like, I don't think the energy of Ben Shapiro, I've been wondering what that's about. And so, like, when I saw it, like, when he said Cabot Phillips, I was like, whoa, that I did not expect that turn. Because I had sent him so many people that, like, in Turning Point, that I thought could have fit the description. Like, maybe it was someone on the security team, and he was like, no, no, no. And then with no context, he was like, Cabot Phillips was the guy. And I don't know. I find that to be interesting that he was off. Now Cabot could just very easily just be like, I was on vacation. Like, that's 7 days, right? I mean, he was off air from the 4th until the 11th. And hey, he's got the wrong guy, wrong memory. And I'd be like, okay, cool. But that's a long time, right? That's a very long time that he could send us something or anything. So yeah, I think there's a million ways, but it would start with just denying it. Like, it would be very simple, especially because it's gotten so big. And I want to be able to do that for them. I want to debunk it. I want it to be off of people's minds. Like, if Cabot was just like with his family on vacation in Scotland, I want to be like, hey guys, like, Mitch we're looking for someone that looks like Cabot. You know what I mean? And so we can focus somewhere else. Or Erika has airtight. Here's where she was. This is what she was doing. And there really are just, like, there's just another blonde who was on the base that day. I think that would make a lot of people feel good if they just did that.
And Candace, if they hadn't already
So
weighed in,
it makes sense.
That would be one thing, right?
So it makes sense what you're saying in terms of, if you were to provide a text, what you're proving is that you texted someone. But or I mean, they're not going to give you evidence that they took a flight to Fort Huachuca. So I guess, because if they did it or they didn't do it, they wouldn't provide it either way.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason I'm asking the question is, I get the logic behind it. Like, first of all, the smart play would have been not to say anything. After he started giving evidence to that Green Beret, it now becomes the onus is put on you. So I understand it. I'm on your side on that perspective.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, let's take Erika Kirk as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say she wasn't there on September the 8th, but she hasn't got any digital footprint. Yes, she can deny it. That's one thing. But, like, no one's going to believe her, even if she was to deny it. So how do you actually provide evidence that you weren't there? Because if you text someone, that's not evidence, because you could text from the place or from some other place. It's actually having, like, some kind of digital footprint.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
She's going to explain here the evidence they were trying to provide her for Erika on that day. What was I just going to say? But I am curious, and I wonder if anybody knows, when it comes to metadata and the information, I know I kind of want to take a look at my phone really quick. So, like, when you look at the information about your texts, is there anything in here that shows? I was trying to see on mine, but is there any metadata in there when you're sending a text that kind of, like, triggers, I don't know, coordinates or something for where the text is coming from? I would imagine there is. I don't know how to access that. I would imagine there is. I know there is on photos, but there's gotta be some sort of location information when it comes to text. If anybody knows, let me know.
At the
Perfect
exact same time.
example, because they did. You might not have been on earlier, but I reached out to Turning Point again because, like I said, I'm not interested in chasing rabbits. That with I want to actually know what's real and what's not. Yes, Sunday. What's today? On Sunday, I think around 1 o'clock p.m. I got on the phone with them. I reached out on Sunday. Sorry, on Saturday. Got on the phone with them sometime after mass on Saturday. I mean, on Sunday, pardon, and they were like, hey, like, yeah, she was like making dinner with like organizing or making dinner with Charlie. Like, we're going to send you a message of like between her and Charlie speaking. And I was like, great, amazing. I will literally update Twitter right now and say like Erika was making dinner with Charlie. And they send me a message, but the contact was blacked out. So I went back obviously and I was like, hey, like the contact's blacked out. Like, this could be a message between like me and George for all I know. And I was like, do you just mind like just sending, like, I know Charlie's number obviously. So just like, show me the contact. And they were like, we blocked it out because it's like a pet, I don't know, like a nickname that she has for Charlie or whatever. And she just didn't want you to see it. And I was like, okay, well, you can just like change the contact name and just send me like, just send me a video of you opening it so I can see Charlie's number and tell my audience, like, this is confidently a text chain between Charlie and Erika. And then they just said, look, it's Sunday. I think it was like 1 o'clock or something. And she's busy with the kids, but we'll get you that. And so I waited. It's now been obviously more than 24 hours. It's been like 30. That was yesterday at 1 p.m. Now it's 9 p.m. on Monday, and they haven't sent it to me, like just the number so I could see that it was Charlie, but I'm waiting. But there's a perfect example of how they could just easily show it. So I'm waiting for that. And if I get it, I will clarify to people that she was making dinner. And I also said to them, like, I don't need to show people the message either. So like, don't worry about like his, like, whatever you call him getting out there. Like, I'm happy to just like see it. And I think my audience trusts me enough that I would just say I saw it. So I'm still waiting for it. But that's a perfect example of how it could be done.
So that text message you're referring to,
Mm-hmm.
are you saying that it would indicate her specific location? Like she'd be like, oh, guess what, honey? I'm downstairs cooking, I don't know, roast
like
chicken for you. So
I'm recapping here, but it was pretty much like, hey, parking the car, like, be up there for dinner, or like, and is dinner ready? Like, yeah, it's on the table now. Right. Well, if they have that and it has the date of September 8th, which it had the date of September 8th, and that was the communication, like, dinner's on the table now, like, I'll be right down or something like that. Okay, great. If they just blacked out the contact. So I can't obviously I can't say to you guys like,
is it just me that finds that weird? I keep going back and forth. Like, are these people just stupid? I genuinely sometimes can't, because it's so crazy sometimes, the things that they seem to think that they could just use as like confirmation of things that are just absolutely not. Like, yes, like she said, if it showed Charlie's phone number and she could say, well, it's Charlie's phone number. Obviously, they were texting with each other and they're in their house. Um, but to black it out, it's like, what do you think that proves? Like, you have to know that it doesn't give any information. It could literally be a screenshot from is Andrew married? I don't know, him and his wife. Like, it could literally be a screenshot from any person, unless they said like Erika unless she used Charlie's name in her text or something. Like, it would be obvious that you can't prove anything with that information. So I don't understand that. Is it crazy, or is it just me that, like, to think that you could just black it out and she'd be fine? Like, who you're dealing with, right? I don't know. I found that weird. I am gonna go back now